So glad you're here. My name is Michelle Erickson. I'm the Executive Director of Wisconsin Literacy, and you're viewing us through an OWL, which is a new virtual technology we've been using to have meetings. So there are a few of us in a room, and there's another group of Wisconsin Literacy in another room, and we have staff scattered throughout the state, and we're so pleased that you're all here. I think we had nearly 80 people register for this meeting today. So we're really, really happy to have you all here and welcome you. It has been a great year. A lot of things have happened, but we are, 71 member agencies strong, representing more than 14,000 students across the state. So again, I want to commend you on the amazing work that you are doing to serve adults and families in your community. It's really been exciting to see. We are going to be able to share today more about the work of Wisconsin Literacy and Wisconsin Health Literacy. It's been a year of a lot of change and growth, and we're really excited about where we are right now. I'm going to start with introducing our staff. We are extremely fortunate to have our first ever associate director who joined us in January, and that's Ashley Hendricks. We have our regional literacy consultants and community coordinator, which I know all of you are very familiar with. Kathy McLean in the North Central, Anna Beer in the Northeast, Marcia Conant in the Southeast, Beth Gatton in the Southwest and South Central, and Shannon Mason Young in the Northwest. So we're so grateful for the work that they are able to do, connecting your programs with the work of Wisconsin Literacy. We also have a new data and communication manager. Dan Torres is here in the room with me, and he's driving our documents today. So we're happy to have him here. And we have a new digital literacy and tutor training program manager, and she is here in the room. If you can see her up in the really small box on top, but when she speaks, the owl will catch her view and you'll see her instead of me in the box. So that's Jamie Coates, and we're really great to have her. I know some of you have already connected to some of the professional development, the webinars she is sharing about our digital literacy initiatives and tutor training initiatives under the Equitable Recovery Grant. Heidi Frankson is here. She is our development director. And we have been so fortunate to have Debbie Cutchin as our finance director, but she is retiring this year, and she's tried once and she's really going to retire before the end of the year. And we are super excited for her replacement to be here and join us. Greg Pitts joins us as our new controller, and he's here today for his first day of work. So we're really throwing him into the fire. So welcome, Greg. We also have Stacy Martin, who works out of the Northwest as our part-time virtual math instructor. And I know some of the agencies have used Stacy's services for math instruction. Our health literacy division has taken a big leap in its growth this past year. Our director is here, Stan Hudson, our health literacy director. Bhumi Kamboja is here as our project manager, and Julia Norton as our other project manager in the health literacy division. And new to us, since we met last year at this time, is a very large initiative that our State Department of Health asked Wisconsin Literacy to participate in around vaccination. So we have a vaccination community outreach program that is statewide and centers around digital literacy, health literacy, and science literacy. And it's in communities that are serving populations with vaccine hesitancy, and also counties in the state that have low vaccination rates. Our project manager for that is Erin Augustin, and she joins us again today. Some of you might remember Erin way back a while ago in 2010, 11, and 12 as our first health literacy director. So we're really happy to have Erin back helping us manage this program. Will Housley, under this program and the program management, we had hired 4 regional VCO specialists out in the communities, having conversations about COVID vaccination. Will Housley joins us. He's working in the Southwest South Central. Jackie Schuett is working in the Northeast region. Laura Cunningham is working in the Northwest region, and Patricia Wilson is working in the Southeast. So that's a whole new team in our Health Literacy Division that we're really, really happy to welcome. And I also want to introduce our board members. We're really grateful for the work they do. Their support for our work has been really incredible and generous over the last several years that they have been involved in our work. Many of them are here with us, and you'll hear from a couple of them in just a little bit. But I wanted to welcome one of our newly elected board members that you all elected last year at our annual meeting, and that is Eric Johnson from the Milwaukee Public Library drop-in program. So welcome, Eric. We're so glad to have you on the board, and Eric's going to share a little bit more about that later. Also, with our other member agency representative, John Gilgenbach, who's here, and he will talk a little bit also about his work on the board. We have our chair, Steve Munt, here. Our vice chair, Erin McCann, is here. Our governance chair and co-chair of our DEI committee, Jessica Doyle. Treasurer is here, Christine Guintello. And board member Justin Rivas has also joined us. So I don't know if I've missed any other board members that might have jumped on. But we really are appreciative of the work that they've been doing, and so happy to have them here with us. So I'm going to let Steve and Jessica take it from here and share a little bit about, well, actually, no, I'm not quite there yet. We have a little bit of business to do. We have to approve the 2021 annual member minutes. These might have been sent out, but these are the from last October, our meeting, and I would take a motion to approve these minutes, or also entertain any changes or edits that anyone would like to suggest. Would any members like to make a motion to accept the minutes as?
Hi, this is Cheryl from Kenosha. So moved.
Thank you, Cheryl. And a second from anyone? You can unmute yourselves.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I didn't see who that was.
That was John from.
John, I thought that was your voice, John. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the 2021 annual member meeting minutes, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you all. And we'll just give you a quick look at the agenda. So these are the things that we're going to be talking about today. You'll have some time, as I said, to hear from our board members and our board leadership. Also, we'll hear about some of the communications work that Wisconsin Literacy is doing, and then some of the other ways in which you can get involved in some of the services and focuses that focus areas we've been working on. So we're really hoping to, at the end, to have a little bit of interactive engagement for you to share a little bit more about what you're excited to be doing within your agency. So it will be a lot to get all in an hour, but here we go. We're going to try our very best. So I'd like to welcome our board chair, Steve Munt, to just share a little bit about his work on the board.
Hey, thanks, Michelle. What I thought I'd do is good morning or good day, everyone, is just share a little bit about my path to literacy. And first off, I'm an insurance professional, so I work for a large insurance company that you probably well know in Wisconsin area. But I got to literacy really through you and your agencies. So at one point in time in my life, someone asked me to give a little money somewhere. And because I had a relative who was associated with teaching and literacy, that's where the money went. And I never thought about it again. But because the work that you do in your groups and the development directors, I started to get some mailers, and I started to get some phone calls, and I started to get some introductions. And lo and behold, I ended up here as chair of Wisconsin Literacy, which is so exciting because over the last 30 years that I've been involved with literacy, I learn more every day about the great need out there. Then that's the need that you all do and deliver for the state of Wisconsin. And it's such a large, large need, and we are so few. It is just a pleasure and an honor to be involved with Wisconsin Literacy and your agencies and hear about what you do. And being on the board, I think there's two things that really resonate with me that I loved about being on Wisconsin Literacy's board. And first of all, are just all the board members I've had the chance to serve with over the past, I don't know, 6 years or so. Just like you, Wisconsin Literacy has had a ton of challenges, probably more so since COVID has hit. But that's given me the chance to do a lot of asks to our board and say, hey, we need a little bit of help here. We need a little bit of help there. And every time I do that, they stand up and provide that help. And that help, I know, rolls directly through the work of Wisconsin Literacy and out to you guys as well, too, as your individual agencies. And I think the other thing I love about the board is from day one in the first board meeting I was invited to, Michelle always starts the meeting with someone from one of the member agencies or several people just talking about the work that you do in your communities. And I like to feel now that even though I'm an insurance professional, I do know a lot about literacy, but I'm amazed that every time I hear about the work that you are doing, I learned something new, whether it's a new program, a new demographic that needs additional help, anything. I find every one of those conversations and presentations very enlightening. They're so important for our board because it really sets the stage to launch us into the work that we have to roll up our sleeves and do. So I would say with that, a big thank you for all the work that you do and Wisconsin Literacy. And thanks, Michelle, for just giving me a couple minutes to talk about my passion about literacy and how I got there.
Absolutely. Thanks for your service, Steve. Much appreciated. Jessica, do you want to share a little bit?
Yes, I'd love to. And it's great to see 80 people here gathered together for the annual meeting. That's really wonderful. I also want to add my thanks, as did Steve, for your tremendous work working with or within the member agencies. As a board, we really admire your dedication to literacy and the way you work, and we really want to help you get your stories out. I think not enough people realize how you help learners reach their goals, how you change lives, build self-confidence, and you really do your part in creating a more equitable and compassionate world. As a teacher, I could see what happens when an adult in a family, especially an adult with low literacy, gets the determination and motivation to try to improve. The movement by the adult has a positive impact on the whole family. And you could just see it, especially in the students, in terms of their attitude towards school, their communication, and their achievement. You also heard Steve talk a little bit about our favorite part of board meetings, and that's when people from member agencies come and talk about their work and the amazing amount of opportunities that you provide. It's quite amazing and quite complex what you have to do in terms of collaborating, innovating, thinking on your feet so quickly. It's also really great for us to have 2 member reps right now on the board, as you know, John and Eric, and they do a lot to help us understand what you do. And especially they'll point out some of the successes and a lot of the pride that you all share in your learners. So that's really wonderful for all of us. I think you should take seriously, and I ask that you will, that last question on the agenda. How can Wisconsin Literacy best serve your agency? I think this is priority number 1 for board and staff. So I hope you will really express your needs either today during the meeting or to Eric, John, to the staff, however, wherever you decide to do it. But I think our main message today is that Wisconsin Literacy is really here for you. So Thanks, everybody, again for being here and enjoy the meeting.
Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate your words. Okay, we are going to move into communications conversation, and our Associate Director Ashley is going to lead us in that discussion.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to share some results from a communication audit that we had conducted this past summer. First of all, I want to thank, I know there were a lot of you who participated in the focus groups that were conducted by Dooley and Associates, which is a marketing firm based in Kenosha. We couldn't have done this audit without hearing from you, gathering feedback and next steps. So I just wanted to, first of all, thank all of you who participated and gave up your time to, to share your thoughts. And then I wanted to just share what our audience overview is, because we do have a wide range of stakeholders and audience. And obviously those include our 70+ statewide agencies, their staff, your volunteers, your board of directors, the employees, and the board of directors here at Wisconsin Literacy, foundation, corporate, and government supporters, our health literacy stakeholders, individual donors, and the general public. So those are where we wanted to kind of focus our questions. And we did get a lot of notable findings as a result of the audit, which I'll touch on right now, and then also, what the results are. So the Dooley and Associates gathered our strengths and our opportunities or areas for improvement. And 4 of the kind of the top strengths that were repeated often were the organizational reputation and leadership. Wisconsin Literacy has been around since 1985, and Michelle has been leading the organization for a lot of that time and has built a stellar reputation, both locally, regionally, and within the state and beyond. And that is definitely a strength that is recognized. The scope of our partnerships. So we have partnerships with a number of state agencies that Michelle will touch on later. Foundations, corporations, and other community organizations. All of those partnerships are vital, not only to what we do, but also to providing support for what you all do. Another strength that was noted was our dedicated staff. We're all aligned in the mission. We all believe in the power of literacy to change lives and open doors. And, that helps us come to work every day with a smile and a renewed commitment to supporting all of you. And the legacy of work. As Michelle mentioned, we've grown considerably just in the past 18 months or so, and have started from a very, very small agency with a handful of members to, again, over 70 of you now, and a health literacy division, and just a wide-ranging portfolio. And on the other side, we had several opportunities and areas for improvement that were noted. One was enhancing our assistance and resources for funding. A lot of our members noted that they could really use some assistance with finding grants, how to apply for grants and other revenue sources, and also for our smallest volunteer-led agencies who may have very limited capacity. How can we best help you? Building a stronger brand awareness and consistent messaging. So we heard that quite a lot too. We want to continue to build the brand of Wisconsin Literacy, which ultimately benefits you and provides renewed awareness and resourcing, and just keep that consistent messaging coming out. Our mission and vision for the power of literacy and its ripple effect throughout the economy, the workforce, and our communities and our students' families. We also want to strengthen our relationships with your staff, your volunteers, and your boards of directors. We really feel like deepening those relationships, going out now that more travel is regaining strength, and learning more about your agencies and your boards and how we can best assist you. And lastly, one of the areas for opportunity for improvement was our website. So I think a lot of you know that there is a lot of information on our website, and we just really want to refine that and refresh it, clean it up so that not only you, but other visitors to the website know exactly where to find resources, how to contact us, find the latest news, and things like that. So those were the some of the most notable findings for the focus group. And we're going to use these findings really to continue to shape our next steps, to hone in on our communication goals, both internally and externally, and our processes for sharing our story, which is really your story, and to build awareness and drive funding. Were there any questions about the audit or the findings? Okay, if not, then it's my pleasure to turn it over to Jamie Cobes, who is our, as Michelle mentioned, our tutor training and digital literacy project manager.
Ashley, did you want to, is that coming later? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay, it's my turn. Should I stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, that's stuff.
I can't see anything.
Oh,
Sorry to interrupt. This is Cynthia. I couldn't figure out how to raise my hand. It's been a while since I've been on Zoom. Can I make a comment about Ashley's comments?
Of course.
Well, first of all, the strengths and opportunities, I like the use of that term opportunities. Many of us would have written weaknesses. And what you listed in those opportunities certainly all apply to our agency, and I'm going to guess apply to most agencies here as far as the opportunities to build our brand, secure funding, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Jamie Cobes. Michelle introduced me at the beginning of the meeting. I am a tutor training and digital literacy project manager. So our theme today for the meeting is maximize your membership. So I just want to explain a little bit about what I do and this new role. So as you may know, Wisconsin Literacy received a grant through the Department of Administration Equitable Recovery. And that is going to allow us to purchase hardware and software for members who fall in 21 counties that have been hardest hit, 21 census tracts, excuse me, that have been hardest hit by the pandemic. So hardware and software, meaning we can purchase Chromebooks, laptops, hotspots, but also subscriptions to online tools such as North Star Digital Literacy Assessment. And the grant also makes my job possible. So I am here to support our members in the areas of tutor training and digital literacy. And I just wanted to take a couple minutes today to explain some of the projects that I've already had a chance to work on, and give you some information about how you can contact me and we can work together. So the first project that I just finished last week came at the request of a member who wanted more information on best practices for confidentiality in adult education. So I created a 15-minute video, and the video covers best practices for confidentiality and then ends with some scenarios to sort of test your understanding. And what's great about this project is that those scenarios and those best practices, I was able to call those from members themselves. So members who shared with me some scenarios, some tricky situations that they've been in with confidentiality. So this is now a 15-minute video resource that you can find on our website under tutor training. And it can be used to supplement your tutor training or your staff onboarding processes. Another project that I have been working on with a member, I'm co-creating a digital literacy training for tutors that's really going to help tutors figure out how to integrate digital literacy teaching into English language lessons. And then finally, I'll be meeting with another member this week to help determine which parts of an existing tutor training can be transferred to more of an online on-demand format and which parts would be really better to keep as a face-to-face in-person format. So that's just a sampling of support that I am happy to offer. What I really want you to see from those examples is that they're all member driven. So I encourage you to reach out to me, and the support that I can offer can be, you know, creating a project. That word sounds very official and maybe scary, but I can also just be a thought partner. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Okay, next on the agenda, John and Eric, we would love to hear from you both. John, if you want to start a little bit, you've been on the board now, you've had over, you're served almost 2 years, I think, or you're in your second year. And the member terms for agency member representatives are a 2-year term with the option to renew that term for an additional 2 terms. So John's just in his first term with us. John?
Yeah, thank you. Michelle and everybody, great to see so many people here. This is pretty exciting. Yeah, it is my second year in my first term on the board. That is correct. And it's been a great experience. When I became the executive director of the Adult Learning Center in the summer of 2019. So one of my motivations for joining this board was really to kind of start to connect as a new executive director, to connect with others around the state, to kind of get a broader view of adult literacy in the state of Wisconsin. I've been an instructor. So I kind of came up from, I don't want to say from the bottom, but I started as a teacher here at the Adult Learning Center back in 2003. So I've definitely been in the adult ed world for quite a while, almost 20 years now, which is crazy. But it was great I wanted to get a broader perspective, not just our agency. And that's really, I feel like what this agency is all about, is making those connections so that we don't feel like we're working in isolation. It can be a very lonely business in GEDs and adult ed. So it's great to have this place to come together. And as a member of the board, it really has borne fruit, as I hoped. I've been able to create relationships and find connections with other executive directors, but also just other board members from many walks of life to really either get inside information or kind of tips and tricks. One of the great things is just being able to kind of compare notes and see what other people are doing, and either in other agencies specifically or in other regions of the state. It has been very interesting to see, for example, the response to online virtual learning versus in-person learning, kind of the slow return to virtual or to in-person learning, I should say, over the last school year or so. And we've had a very strong online program since kind of refining our process over 2020. And I've talked to other folks who have said, we've kind of returned our focus to the in-person, and we haven't had as much interest in the online, which was surprising to me. I don't know if that's a trait for Milwaukee and the metro area here or what, but it has continued to be very popular. We're pretty much at a 50-50 as far as our student enrollment for in-person classes versus online classes. But being able to just actually this morning, speaking with, I'm not sure if she's on the call, but Lily from the Elkhorn, the Walworth County Literacy Council, and I had talked about different database software that we use, for example. And those kind of things, those are the kind of conversations I wouldn't be able to have. I mean, as Milwaukee's adult ed community has shrunk a little bit in the last few years, it's getting harder and harder to find people to talk to and compare notes and see what's going on. And then really one of the biggest things that's been impressive to me is that I really believe as an executive director, as a member of, participant on my own board and leading my own board meetings, I've got to say that Wisconsin Literacy really is a model board. I've been very, very impressed just with the level of commitment and passion among all the board members from all their various walks of life. Many of the board members are not directly related or connected to adult education in their careers, but it's just been fantastic seeing so many people that are so passionate and that do take action. We've got very active committees, very active members across the board who just really, really do take this to heart and take it seriously. And I have another point there, I had 3, but that was really, just it's been very, very impressive to see what a truly active and committed board can do, and to bring some of that back to my much smaller organization and use that as inspiration to get my board up and moving. So it's been a great experience for me, and I can't say enough about it. So I thank you.
Thank you so much, John. We're going to really try to get through this really lengthy agenda. So we're gonna just see if the next group of speakers, we're gonna try to keep our comments brief so everyone can move forward with the rest of the agenda. So John, can you, or I'm sorry, Eric, would you be able to share a little bit about your just, I know it's just not been that long, but your time on the board so far since June.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I've been on the board since June of this year. And I've been a Wisconsin Literacy member since 2018. And I work at Milwaukee Public Library with our adult literacy and refugee program. And over the years, I've just gotten a bigger, stronger passion for working with adult learners in literacy and refugee and immigrant service providers, such as Cynthia from ILP. And when the opportunity came up to be on the board, I thought it would be a great chance to not only have a perspective from a member agency, but also as being on the board and being able to see how things work on the other side. Being a member agency, I can provide the board with insight as to like what agencies may or may not need and ways we can improve things. And it's been a great experience so far. So if anyone ever has any interest in it, I'd be more than happy to speak with them. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Eric. Next up. So Ashley, I think we're back to you with a little bit more of the communications and branding part of the audit.
Sure, thank you. So part of the audit was the focus groups that I touched on, and another part that goes to our branding efforts is our logo refresh. And I'm not sure if everyone can see the full refresh, but Dooley and Associates made some slight adjustments to our logo. So we had kind of a bird in the book that you're all familiar with. And the refresh takes the bird away and puts in pages of a book. So obviously touching on literacy, but also representing our member agencies and all the numbers there, and just reflecting more of a member agency. And we also added 3 focus words on the bottom of the logo: health, workforce, and community. Those are really our top areas of focus. And we could have honestly put several more words underneath there, but the font got very, very small. So health, literacy, obviously, I mentioned earlier, workforce, and then community really also includes all of you and our advocacy work and the impact that you all have on your students and families. So that's the refresh of the Wisconsin Literacy logo. And then the Wisconsin Health Literacy logo remains the same, but underneath the logo, it now says a division of Wisconsin Literacy, just to further enhance that branding effort. So, and the other exciting part of the logo refresh is a new member seal. And so this graphic will actually be sent out to all of you by your regional literacy consultants this week. And this is something you can put on your website, on printed materials where appropriate, but it just really better defines the strength of our collective impact, the the power of what you do, and lends validity to being one of the members of Wisconsin Literacy. So you'll be getting all 3 of the color palettes, and of course, whatever works best with your website and your graphics is what we would love to have you start including on your websites. So, and again, those will be sent out via email later this week.
Thank you, Ashley. And in keeping with this theme of icons and logos, we worked with Dooley to kind of emphasize our work, our focus areas. So these logos help us define the work that we're doing. As we've talked about, we're going to talk a little bit more about advocacy in a minute. The digital literacy has really become a necessity and a very big focus area of our work. And I know your work as well. Workforce, very important connection. We have spent this past year and are continuing this year to try to make workforce connections with workforce development boards and W-2 agencies that you are connecting with for student services. We really see this as an important part of literacy work. We know that many of our students come to us, looking to either looking for a job or to do their job better and improve their skills to be able to improve in their employment situation. And of course, health literacy has been such an emphasis. It's its own division, and we're going to hear from Stan, our director, and a little bit more about some of those initiatives that are going on. But the health literacy division continues to be a very important part, and one that Wisconsin Literacy is recognized for beyond Wisconsin borders in terms of the work we're doing around health literacy. These are just our services that we're offering. These are just for your visual enjoyment to kind of quickly put into view what we have been trying to provide for services, nonprofit governance. We do a lot of professional development around that. In general, just adult education principles and practices, along with ELL and GED and HSED. I know the regional staff has worked very hard to implement opportunities for networking. So as John mentioned, you can learn from other agencies, either similar size, maybe in your region, maybe not in your region across the state, but doing similar things. So we're really proud of that work and hoping that that has been a big help. Tutor training with Jamie on board too. We're going to be able to enhance that and incorporate digital literacy into that, which we're very excited about. Our math tutoring has now been in place for just a year and almost a year and a half now. And so we do hope that this virtual opportunity to help your students particularly get over that math barrier to passing the GED, that you will take advantage of some individualized math help in your programs for your students. Other resources that the regional staff have provide for our members and a lot of the professional development they do. Okay, and now we're going to talk about one of the programs. Anna Beer in the Northeast is going to introduce one of our newer programs around workforce and refugee services.
Wisconsin Literacy has a grant through the Department of Children and Families to help our members partner with a grant that they receive for the Wilson Fish TANF Coordination Project, which is working with newly arrived refugees in the state of Wisconsin and helping them get jobs. And so the grant that we receive supports our members who are serving newly arrived refugees who are TANF eligible. When we first talked about this grant over a year ago, there was a very specific geographical focus, but that has changed and broadened since Wisconsin has started receiving refugees in more communities across the state. So programs as a part of this grant are doing employer outreach. They are doing employment skills training in their English classes, and also doing sector-specific trainings like tutoring for CDL licensure. And then some programs are also doing workplace literacy on site at employers where employees can attend English classes right on site. And so Robin Hallett was going to speak just a little bit about what they're doing with what Literacy Green Bay is doing with the grant.
Hi, everybody. As Anna mentioned, I'm the executive director at Literacy Green Bay, and we were very fortunate to receive this grant through Wisconsin Literacy. This is our second year now receiving the grant. So in the first year, we convened a group of employers to get input from them about workplace relevant ELL skills and knowledge that they would find helpful in the workplace. Based on the input that we received from them, we developed a framework around workplace literacy ELL skills. And with this grant, we were able to add 2 more ELL classes, and we asked that the teachers of those classes develop activities and lessons around the topics that we learned about from our employer group. So they've been using them in their classes and also sharing them with our other teachers on our team. And now in our second year of this grant, we will be re-engaging the employer work group to follow up with them and continue further discussions about ideas and things that might have come up in the first year. And we continue to pay one of those teachers to have an additional class she instructs, and she's incorporating the recommendations that have come from the work group and all the workplace related materials that she developed in the first year. So thank you again to Wisconsin Literacy for this grant.
Great. Thank you, Robin, for that update. And so we do have room for another member partner as a part of this grant. You do need to track TANF eligibility for the participants and report outcomes like NRS levels and employment outcomes. But please let me know if you're interested in being a part of that.
Michelle, you're muted.
Michelle, you're muted.
Michelle, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to jump into a funding of Wisconsin literacy and partnerships in our strategic plan. Partnerships and programming is our first goal. We're looking to implement this whole project, our whole strategic plan with a DEI lens, and we're looking at our partners here at the state agency level. And I wanted to share with you how that has worked and how it's tied into our advocacy work. So currently, right now, we are being supported by 5 different state agencies. Department of Workforce Development is a very important partner, and they are helping our regional staff provide the professional development. And as I mentioned earlier, focus on workforce connections and workforce readiness skill building. So we're really excited to be partnering more with our workforce development boards. I can't emphasize enough the importance of that for you at the local level to be making those connections, and also with your W-2 agency partners. Department of Children and Families, DCF, is providing support, member support that goes to your programs for GED completion, HSED, literacy services, the refugee workplace program Anna and Robin spoke about, and our math tutoring. Department of Public Instruction has been with us since way back since 2006 for member support. So these are the supports that we are able to pass on to you for professional development and resources that you need in your agency. And again, that work through DCF and Department of Public Instruction is done through a lot of the relationships with your regional literacy consultant and coordinator. Department of Health Services, as I mentioned, asked us to step in to work on the vaccination community outreach, and then Department of Administration with the digital literacy and tutor training that Jamie mentioned. This has been an exciting project to move forward. Department of Corrections, we don't actually work with, but we support DOC with GED resources. And also, I wanted to share a little bit more about how I advocate, and then we're going to hear from our health literacy division. Stan's going to share a little bit about that work. But just briefly, what you're looking at right now is the Wisconsin State Legislature page. And if you were to go to committees on that page, let me scroll down a little bit. One of the most important committees in our state legislature that is making funding decisions, which impacts all those state agency budgets, what I just showed you, how they're connected to us, is the Joint Finance Committee. So in advocacy work, I will spend my time working with those 16 members of the Joint Finance Committee. And what they do is decide how the governor's budget will be disseminated and passed through the legislature. And so you can scroll up now. So when looking at this, we see there are 16 members. There are, depending on the party that is in the majority, will have 12 of the 16, and the minority party will have 4. But if any of these names are familiar to you, you click on this link and you can see the map of where their district's boundaries are and some of the legislation they've been working on. But coming up from January, we're already starting now, these 16 members are very focused on the budget that will get us through the fiscal year of 23 through 25. And our work at Wisconsin Literacy will be visiting them, and I'm going to ask for your help in terms of sharing. When I go there, I do 5 things. I connect them to your work and tell them about the agencies in their district. I share the focus areas that we work in. I share our statewide data that you all complete for that demographic survey we ask you to do every summer, and it's extremely important. I know I always say this, that you share that data with us because it paints the picture of how we're doing as a state agency and all the work that's impacting across the state around literacy. Then I invite them to visit your agency, or I encourage you to have them come to all your events as much as possible, or just a regular day where you're having class and instruction for them to see your work, and then work to stay in touch with them. So that's a little, just really brief part about the advocacy work Wisconsin Literacy is doing to keep those funding sources coming and to expand those funding sources so we can be more of a funding resource for the work that you're doing. So again, I will be reaching out to some of you with those Joint Finance Committee members. That list actually is this current session. The new session in January might have some new names on that, but we'll be in touch about that. So I want to just quickly turn it over to Stan to share a little bit about the Health Literacy Division work.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. With health literacy, we do a lot of work across the state, from working with health systems to do health literacy assessments to make sure that they're doing a good job at organizational health literacy and providing good services, to working with health systems and pharmacies to make sure that we're providing medication instructions in a way that's easy for people to understand and follow. But what I really wanted to focus on with you all today is our work around COVID vaccine education and outreach, because I think that's something that is very important these days. You know, as we know, our state is facing a potential triple pandemic that we're talking about, with RSV, you know, impacting children's health and not having a vaccine, and then with a higher than average flu season projected, and with COVID and the many variants that are going around. We're really trying to do as best a job we can in providing good, easy to understand and actionable information to all Wisconsinites so that they can make a decision for themselves to get vaccinated and get their families vaccinated. And so we have a lot of numerous resources. I'm going to put a link up real quick in the chat that will point to all of our resources and things, and we've got trainings anywhere from, you know, if you're doing your own vaccine outreach, there's lots of trainings for that. We've got a new training that just came out in the last few weeks that really helps you, you know, teach folks how to find reliable health information about COVID so that they're getting good information about it and not necessarily following the misinformation and disinformation that's out there. And then we've really been focused on creating great resources that make it really easy for folks to understand. You know, if you're deciding to get your vaccine, then there are schedules to follow and they can be pretty complex. So we've tried to put that in easy to understand information. And we provide these materials right now. We have most of them in about 5 different languages. We have them in English, Spanish, Arabic, Hmong, and simplified Chinese or Mandarin. But we can always create resources in other languages. So if you're seeing something out there that you're wanting, that you need a new resource about, or if you're seeing a resource that needs to be in a different language, please let us know. We can easily translate that. And you can find all of those training programs, those resources. And then the other thing that we are doing is we're providing sub-awards to community organizations, because we know that you all are the trusted, you know, sources of information in your community. And you're the people that people are really turning to and leaning on to find good information. And so if you are interested in some sub-award funding, please let us know. Right now, currently, we have 19 subawards funded across the state in various communities with various folks, really trying to make sure that we're supporting this work and getting out the best information we can so that people can make those best informed decisions for themselves.
Thanks so much, Stan. Appreciate that update. Okay, so this is the part of the meeting I hope you will stay in with us for us because we really do want to hear from you. You're going to be in a breakout room instantaneously. Please share how we can help you more or what you're excited about with your agency. And there should be an RLC in every room and some board members too. So, and if you don't have time, please connect with your regional staff too to share these thoughts. And we'll be back really briefly to close up.
All right, I just wanted to welcome you all back from the breakout rooms and just again, thank all of you for the life-changing work that you do. Remind you, as Jessica said earlier, that Wisconsin Literacy is here for you, for your students, your staff, and your boards. So we encourage you to continue to reach out to us, whether it's through your regional literacy consultants and the great work that they're doing, or any of us here in the Madison office. So thank you all for attending, and we'll adjourn the meeting by showing the video that some of you saw at the very beginning, but we wanted to play that for you one more time. So again, thanks to all of you, and enjoy the rest of your day after you join us for this video.
Again, thank you all for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your day. Appreciate all the work that you're doing. Stay in touch.